Welcome back to Six Sided. Please like, share, and subscribe. Big transfer stories tonight with a 100 million euro bid submitted for Julian Alvarez, but Atleti demanding more. Morgan Rogers to Arsenal is getting closer. Man United have an imminent here we go on the cards with Atalanta's midfield supremo Ederson. We're delving into those stories, plus asking the question, what will Spurs do this summer as well? As we're joined by two lovely Tottenham Hotspur fans. We're also going to preview the biggest game of the season, the Champions League final, a chance for both clubs to etch their names into eternal glory and history. PSG versus Arsenal. At a weird time, actually, 5 p.m. on Saturday evening, not the normal 8 p.m. So much more drinking time for certain Gooners to celebrate and certain on-loan Gooners to celebrate if they win. Chin chin. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already, people. And thank you all for being here. We've got Ram on the show with us tonight, looking fresh with the fresh trim, copying Kate's haircut next to him, which is amazing to see. Big up, Kate. It looks better on you always. And he used to have Sarah's haircut, and Sarah is back with us on the show as well today. And I have to say, Sarah, it looks 10 times better on your lovely head than it does Ram below you. And there he is in the middle, looking like the cat that got the cream whilst catching a pigeon and chomping on a mice's head at the same time. Anton is here with us today, big Arsenal fan after a week of jubilant celebrations of winning the Barclays Premier, I shouldn't say Barclays Premier League anymore, the English Premier League last week. How are we all today?
The champ is in the building, guys.
Good.
And by the way, Terry, it's no longer Anton, it's champ, okay? That is how I will be addressed now until the end of the season.
Until Saturday. We'll see what happens with Saturday.
No, Saturday, look, if we win on Saturday, I'm champ supremo. That's just like the cherry on top of the cake, but the cake has already been delivered, people. So
I can think of another word beginning with C, but we won't go there, Anton.
Look,
for sure.
Can we go there? No, we could go there. We could go there, Kate.
look, Kate, you guys should just be happy that you're still in the league this season and you're still irrelevant. So
I'll always be relevant.
Big ups.
Spurs will always be relevant. We get called a very small club, and everyone says relegate them, they're nothing. And then when we celebrate staying up, they go, "Why does a club like Spurs celebrating?" It's like you can't have your cake and eat it. You got to decide.
Terry's just there, just thinking you're chatting a load of shit right now. Yeah,
you would miss us.
Are you not relevant? No way you are relevant.
Of course, don't put words in my mouth, Ram. You say it if you want to say it. Don't say I'm thinking it.
Yeah,
I'm looking at your face. I looked at your face. It was like, what is she?
This is why, guys. This is why. Ram has been on the Football Terrace for one of the longest serving members of our panels, but it's why we call him two-backer, because he has no chest.
Yeah,
he has two backs.
I've said this multiple times. If I say it, it just loses its effect, because you're like, oh, Ram, you're saying the same crap every week now. If someone else says it, then it hits different, Terry. It hits different.
I wasn't thinking it. Yeah, big up Canadian Cam, one of our originals, 100% two-backer. That's what he is. Very well, but there we go. I can do a better impression. Kwess is here with us as well. Yes.
We can't hear you. No.
Mid-table Kwess on a quest to get back into the top four. Kwess on a quest next season.
You're on mute, bro. Where are you?
He made the best as well.
We're just like your.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
I said, Terry, why are you fighting on me this early? I only just got here, man.
I know. Give him time to settle.
Yeah, we are on a quest for real to get back some dignity to my club, man. So yeah, it's tough.
Some of your fans need to take. Some of your fans need to get some rest, because some of the
Kwess, if we win on Saturday, your club will start to dissolve into nothingness.
You know what? I hear you. I hear that's a big if. And to be fair, there is a little difference between 1 and 2. So it is cute. Get your first, then we can chat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but did you guys ever win one and win the league title in the same season? Therefore, really making you the real, true champions of Europe.
Hang on.
You're right. Let me not start.
No, that's what I'm saying. Terry's club did it. That's what I'm not. There's nothing.
No, we didn't. We've done it twice.
They did do it twice. They did do it twice. So nice.
We
They
did
did
it
it twice. That's true.
Liverpool done it twice too. City done it once, but they've got 115, so they don't count yet. We've got to wait for the clearance. We've got to wait for it to be cleared. You know what I mean? You know, like when Every tell you they've got a delivery coming, you never take it as gospel because it might not turn up. That's how I'm looking at City's trophies. They're on every delivery, so they may arrive, they may not. We've got to wait for the inquest. Every FC is what we're saying there. Also, some of the new TFT merch. One of the new TFT shirts. This fits very nice. It's making the muscle look good. They sent mine. Mine all got delivered. I ordered all the same stuff for KJ, and they just emailed me every saying, "Oh, we're not. They didn't say why. They just said we're not delivering it now. It's going back to the depot." I'm like, these don't even get made in England. So fuck me, I don't know where they're going. So KJ, we will try and get yours to you soon, mate. But they wouldn't look as good on you as they do me. These ones fit very, very well. So this is the TFT original range. It's just that badge. That's all it is. So it's a bit classy looking. Do you know what I mean? So also, I sent off my Arsenal Scare Me shirt today to get framed. We're going to put it up because we're redecorating the studio soon. So we're going to put that up.
Oh, the Arsenal kit.
Yeah, we're going to put the back part of it up that you guys sent to me with the Arsenal Scare Me thing. It was a very nice gesture. There we go. Terry, you're looking fit. Oh, thank you. You realise.
Okay. Archie.
It's weird getting that from somebody with the same name as my son, but okay. Big up yourself.
Wait, is that actually your son? you've got.
Oh, he's an Arsenal fan.
Is that your son? You know.
Damn.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't know what you and your family get up to, Anton, but mine don't roll like that, bro. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Anton's family, do you know what I mean? I don't know, but no. But then my daughter come home from a summer camp thing today, and she's like, "Daddy, I think I have this new boyfriend who's called Archie." And I was like, no, another boy, different name, please. Look, first story of the day. And it's not actually really connected to any of our teams, or maybe loosely connected. Who else was shocked? Who else thinks Anthony Gordon is worth £80 million or euros, whichever it is? Anyone shocked by that, or does that feel like a mad marker for the beginning of the window?
Do you know? I thought when I saw Anthony Gordon go to Barcelona for 80 million, I was like, time to cash in on Gabriel Martinelli, because all of a sudden, you know, if he could play like Anthony Gordon go for 80 million, I'm like, finally, we'll get some dough for Martinelli because.
First thing I thought Barcelona were meant to be skinned.
Yeah. Oh, they have no money.
Never.
Am I the only one that's not surprised by the actual signing?
I'm not surprised. I'm less surprised he cost 80 mil because of the market, because of how players. But I can kind of understand because like he did have a good game against them. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's kind of an
he
old.
Also went an entire calendar year without scoring in the Premier League.
Yeah, but Barca don't care about that. Yeah, I mean, they signed Rafinha from Leeds, bro. They don't really care about
respect Rafinha from Leeds.
I respect him. I'm just saying, like, you know, they signed Rashford. Like, they're just like, anyone's going to come from the Premier League and dominate our league. So I respect it, man. I'm like, yo, he put the brakes on them.
Yeah,
he was a stand-up player when he played in that game as well. Barcelona.
I'm looking at it from a footballing basis. It's Hansi Flick. And Gordon is a Hansi Flick player. He is literally the perfect player. He runs like a mad dog. He's incredibly fast, and he can be effective as well. I think under Hansi Flick, I think Hansi Flick can really get the best out of him. One, because I rate Hansi Flick very highly. But I think the way they're going to play, Lamine Yamal is going to get most of the ball. He's going to make the runs in behind and try and use his movement off the ball. I think that's how Flick is going to utilize it. But still, 80 million was it 80 million euros? That's mad. That's mad. I thought 80 million euros to another English club would make sense because of the homegrown tax. But to Barca, that's mad. That's still mad.
Yeah. My only issue with it, look, fair play to Andy. I'm not a big fan of Gordon. I've always thought he was just a good player. But fair play, objectively speaking, Barca wanted you, they've got you, Bayern wanted you, Liverpool were interested, Arsenal. I can't, again, subjectively, I'm not a big fan, but objectively, I have to look at it and go, maybe I'm wrong, right? I can't have that logic for Zaha and go, well, no big club wanted him, and then see it and Anthony Gordon go to these big clubs and go, well, I'm still right. That's not the kind of creator I am. But the fear I have is the marker it sets this summer, because if he is worth that, how much are the other wingers going to go for now that people want?
Yeah.
Equally, I'm looking back at last season and going, I'm really happy with the prices we got the Cunhas and the Mbumos at, because for me, they're better players and there's more to their game. They can, I think they'll do better against low blocks and things like that. So from my perspective, there's good in it and there's bad in it in terms of what it means for the rest of the market. But yeah, it just sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's a sign of the lack of overall quality in football, the depth of quality in football, and maybe also a sign. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of this week, and it's one of these things that the media's going along with. I've seen all these journalists go on about how, oh, well done to Villa, well done to Palace, but it's only because the Premier League got the monopoly financially, and basically saying it ain't fair. And on the other, and I'm sitting there going, where was this attitude when the 90s were here? And it was really hard for the English team to compete in Europe because Spain had more money. The Netherlands had as much, if not more money. Italy had exponentially more money over the course of the 90s. They grew and they grew and they grew and
the
they
Dutch
grew.
have more money, Terry.
Well, they had every bit as much as we did. If you go back and look at their squads, their top teams weren't overly different. As the Premier League grew into the late 90s, we probably left them behind a little bit. But you look at the teams in the early 90s, the mid 90s, in France, in Germany, in the Netherlands, in Italy, England definitely wasn't a standout. But I don't remember. I mean, does that mean now teams that were winning European trophies in the 90s, do those trophies mean more now because we didn't have the financial monopoly? If we're now degrading European trophies now because we do have the most amount of money, I mean, that won't sit well with a lot of people, because there's a certain manager that won in England that won the most European trophies in the 90s that nobody wants to big up. But I don't know you guys, it just annoys me a little bit. People do that now. Ain't fair the Premier League's winning everything.
I think compared to, because I mean, having heard it last year when we won the Europa, everyone was saying, well, it's not the same this year because there's no Champions League winner, or there's no Champions League team in the Europa League. So maybe because a lot of the international leagues or European leagues have like a top 1 or 2 teams, and it's kind of dominated that way across Europe, except for the Premier League. Like, we have a lot of teams that the table this year, the mid-table was so tight. Such a strong league this year in terms of just across the league. I think that also plays a part because you've got, dominant teams that this and like the last couple of seasons haven't been in the Europa. And I think that does change the dynamics slightly. I don't know what other people think, but people are saying it's easier now because you don't have your bigger Spanish teams or whatever competing in the Europa. So I don't know if that's true or not necessarily, because I think a competition's a competition.
Yeah, I think maybe the element, because you used to sometimes get a few big boys drop and you go, Jesus Christ, they shouldn't have really been there. You see, like the last couple of years, PSG wouldn't have won the Champions League last season if the group stage were on, because they may have come third in their group stage, how bad and they didn't just lose and drop points to big teams last season. They actually lost and dropped points to some of the teams that would have been in pot 3 and pot 4 in the old draw. So what would have happened 4 years ago is PSG would have dropped down to the Europa League last season, most likely.
And this season too.
And maybe this season too, if you look at their league phase side of things. So you can argue there's an element that's easier. But the reason the English teams are dominating is because over the past 10 years, the Premier League is, again, I keep telling people, I don't care subjectively what people think. Objectively, we are the biggest and the best league because most people want to watch it. And everyone can sit there and, sometimes you get like the real, oh no, this movie's better than that movie. Well, this one made £4 billion at the box office. This one made 100 million. The one that people spent £4 billion watching 10 times and all the merchandise and loving the film, that's a better film. I don't care if this one's, the way this one was filmed, it had this artistic thing about whether, fuck off, no one really cares. Like, that's for you, like, film buffs that knock one out over them. The rest of us don't judge films that way. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think football's a bit like that. Yes, some people might watch the Eredivisie and go, oh, the way they play, the way they operate, it's the best. But objectively speaking, it isn't the best. I think Lamar is the best English singer of all time. No one else fucking does. Like, but I love it. If there's any justice, think the same. If there's any justice, you'd all think the same. Some of you aren't even 50-50 on it. And I'm just like, what I'm saying here. The thing is, if I name any more of his song titles, you'd all go, I don't even know if he sung that song.
Yeah.
Things.
I don't even know who Lamar is. I was like, Kendrick Lamar? I don't know.
No, the Lamar Rabika is his name. I even know his surname. There we go. He was on Fame Academy.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say Pop Idol.
Came third, got robbed, came third. I still that when he came third. I was so pissed off. I was like, what?
Robbed.
David Snedden won. David Snedden won. If I was a YouTuber back then, I'd have done a right rant on it. I would. Lamar.
You still managed to make it about Arsenal, though, Terry.
Your cousin, if he's your cousin, but I want to meet him, please. I would. Joe, I nearly met him at one of his concerts once, right? A very small thing. And I said, I'd be nice to say hello. And he's like, because he follows me on Instagram, because that's how massive he is now, follows me. And like, we got chatting. And then I was waiting to meet him. They said, oh, in a minute, we'll take you upstairs to where his family and friends are sitting down having a drink. And then these other couple of fans that were there, and they were really fangirling. And one was a boy, really fanboying. And like, the way they were, oh my God, I'm going to ask him all these questions when I see him. And I ducked out. And my missus was like, why are you ducking out? And I said, well, because I don't want him to think I'm like them. I can't.
What, guilty by association, yeah?
Yeah, I just got to shake his hand and go, listen, love your music, mate. Top fella, cheers. Like, I don't even ask people like celebrities for photos. I find that a really weird thing to do. And I was just like, but I was looking at these guys like, I can't be walking in with them because they're fucking moving mad.
Is he an Arsenal fan then?
Tell your cousin. Tell your cousin. I love him. I've
never seen Terry so Star Trek before in my life.
Yeah.
I love him.
I said that.
Lamar from Pop Idol was a Tottenham fan.
First album on my wall, man. I love Lamar. He's great.
He's Spurs. He's Spurs.
He's Spurs. His cousin played for you guys. Something Obika played for Spurs. He was one of your academy players a few years ago. Played for Spurs. Moving on from that transfer story, what do you guys make? I'm going to go to Kwess first on this. What do you make of Man United move for Ederson? According to Sully Talks, a very credible Man United in the know. The deal is very, very close to completion. It's going to be about a £30 million deal, according to the sources that are close to it. Good, bad, indifferent?
It's good. Especially, like, it's good we started off with the Gordon one, because when you think about the kind of money that is being thrown around for players, I mean, I think Gareth Bale went 12, 13 years ago, he went for how much? Like 80, 90 million euros?
It was like 100, wasn't it?
100 or something, yeah, euros wise.
85 million pounds.
Yeah, so thinking about the money they're paying for Gordon, and you get a shrewd signing like Ederson, where, look, is he the top bracket of players right now? No. Is he the bottom end? No. Is he somewhere in that middle where he's a competent midfield player? He's going to add to your squad in terms of depth and quality, yes. And then for 30 mil, it's good business, man. It's good business. And to be honest, more clubs, especially even my club, need to be doing more business like this. Like, typically, I think the more shrewd your business is, the more you get out of those players. You take away some of the pressure from them. I think about Isak going to Liverpool, and I think, look, injuries are one thing, but also like the amount of pressure and then spotlight that's on you, it's going to affect the way you play. I still remember us signing Fernando Torres deadline day 2011, and the guy just couldn't hit a barn door for about 6 to 7 months, man. He was struggling. So that money for that player, he's not somebody who's going to be the first name on a team sheet every single week, I assume, because I also think you guys are going to go in for Belieber, and then there could be Tuchemeni, depending on how things move around City, Chelsea, Madrid. If that's the first bit of business in the door, well done, United, man. It's a good start to the summer transfer window, I reckon.
What do you make of it, Ram? You remember him fairly well. He played in a team that knocks you out of the Europa League. So, you'd have watched that game. And that's not, I'm not saying that as a dig, it's just what happened, that you would have watched those two games. How do you assess it as a small context to the deal? It's going to be around 30 million, and it's going to be about 75,000 a week in salary. So it's not a big money breaker, sort of a big money spender. What do you make of it as a piece of business for United?
I think it's a decent piece of business. I think he's one of those players that he wants to make the step up to a bigger club, and he has done. I'll be honest, I think he's one of those players that could challenge for a starting place. I don't think he's going to be there just to accept like a squad rotation. He'll definitely add and bulk up your squad, but he's the kind of player that can look at this team and be like, you see, Casemiro's gone, my fellow Brazilian. I might want to take that place. I might be a good partner for Kobe Mainu. Whether if Tonali was to join you guys, Tchouaméni, anyone, he would look at it and be like, I'm here for a reason. and I'm going to try and get a start in place. So I think it's a very good deal in terms of value for money. Great value for money. Seen him a couple of times. Very functional footballer. Get him in the right system, and he can be an absolute problem. Yeah, I think is a great deal all round for Man United. For the first time in quite a while, I've said in a long time, Man United have done a really, really good piece of business here. It's really, really good. So fair play to them. Fair play to them.
Back windows as
I was
well.
listening earlier, and they were saying that Atalanta don't really want him to go, which is why other clubs have backed away from it. And that although United are the closest getting him, they're still not guaranteed that they're getting. But I mean, I don't know how true it is, but I like him. We've spoken about him at Spurs for about 2 years, how much we'd like him at Spurs. He's massive, he's strong. I don't think he'll be the only midfielder you bring in. I think you're putting Ugarte up for sale as well, if I'm not mistaken.
We're going to bring 3 midfielders in this summer.
Yeah. So, but if you can get him, I think it's a great bit of business.
Yeah, look, I happen to agree. I think at 30 to 40 million, I think it is really good. He's got 1 year left on his contract, so you could still argue it's maybe a little much with 1 year remaining. But you never know with these contracts. And I've been asking journalists, and none seem to answer it. I'm hopefully going to get Ben Jacobs to answer it tomorrow and get the information. But I don't remember what player it was. It may have been Jadon Sancho. It was Jadon Sancho. The first time we tried to sign him, everyone was like, "Oh, there's only 2 years left on his contract, and there's this clause, and we could get him." And then suddenly there was this extension that was enacted, and no one knew it. No journalist knew there was an extension, and maybe there's something like that, like a 1 year extension. But I like it, and I listened to Laurie Whitwell earlier today, and he just said United wanted to do Ederson first to set a bit of a benchmark. That if we can get Ederson for 30 million, don't be stupid and start asking for 120 million pounds for Tonali, because again, I think Tonali's better, but I don't think there's a difference of 80 to 90 million pound between the two players. I don't think Tonali is, and this is the argument I've had with so many Man United fans that are still doing this gimmick of just spend whatever it takes. You have to look at this. So, in the same report today, everyone's going on about Alex Scott. I love Alex Scott. I think I'm not talking about the former female Arsenal player and presenter now. I'm talking about the Bournemouth midfielder. There's talk of them wanting and demanding, because of his contract length, about 80 million pounds for him. And I start looking at that, and I think it's really good. But I look at it and go, I just think to myself, 80 million, how much of a needle mover are you getting when players like Ederson 30 million? I don't think Alex Scott is 50 million pounds better. And as much as people go, yeah, but it's the marginal gains. I'm like, yeah, the issue you've got with those marginal gains is an extra 50 million here and an extra 30 million there and an extra 40 million there. Then you run out of money to complete the build of your squad. There is no marginal gain by consistently wasting money. And I don't know why it is. Man United fans seem to be the only fan base that don't understand this. And I don't know where it's coming from. They're actually asking Ineos to do the same things Woodward and the Glazers did for the first 10 years after Fergie retired, which is overspend. Oh, we can't get Elliot Anderson. We're not prepared to spend what it takes. But nor is City. City refusing the asking price. Anderson just wants them, not us. I can accept the rejection. Maybe it's because a lot of the younger generation don't go to the bars and the clubs. You get a lot of rejections as a man in bars and clubs. No. Can I buy you it? No. Can I get you a drink? No. You just, you know what I mean? And you learn to accept it. And maybe this generation isn't used to. Maybe it's a Hinge thing. You don't really get the rejection, do you?
Hinge thing.
You don't have to do the teach. Rejection. Imagine you could see the people actually swiping left or right on you. It might teach you to handle. Do you still swipe left and right? Is that what I don't think Ram, you must do it.
Ram, that's crazy.
Why you go after? I ain't been on the thing for a long time, bro.
You got on it though. You swipe on Hinge. I don't know.
Yeah, you swipe on everything, bro. that's the gist, isn't it?
I never did the dating app, so it weren't my thing. It's I've heard it's a Wild West. One of my friends, she said it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I don't even know what she means. She said she got a divorce. She said she had a great year on there. She said it was a great year. You know what I mean? I don't know, vintage year or something. It's big up yourself, Chloe, if you're watching. Hang on, your new husband. I'm sorry if you're watching with her. I'm so sorry, mate. But you are.
Do you know what? As well, yeah. To add to that as well, yeah. Do you know what I think is also going to hamper some of these? You say smaller clubs. I say that with respect. Like, I think the more these Bournemouths and Palaces and all these teams qualify for Europe, the harder it's going to be for them to just turn around and try and charge you 80, 90 mil for the players you've got. Because at the end of the day, most of our teams are in around the same places these teams are at anyway. So like, if Chelsea went in this summer and tried to pay 80 mil for Alex Scott, I'd be like, we're not even in Europe. You guys are. Relax. Like, take some price off the top of that and be reasonable. And I actually think the more these clubs succeed, the harder it will be to charge those prices.
Yeah, but at the same time, Bournemouth are in Europe. They don't want to get rid of him. They want to keep him. So obviously, they're going to put a high price tag on it because they're not going to want to lose their best players next season. They're going to be playing twice a week. They need squad depth. If anything, they need to reinforce, not sell their best players. So if he's one of their best players, they're only doing it to stop other clubs. They're literally doing it to stop other clubs coming in. Otherwise, Spurs will even have
I feel like on your point though, I think Bournemouth is taking this opportunity to be able to lock these players down, saying we are in Europe. Let's sign a contract. So they've done it with Ryan. And so, yeah.
How old is Alex Scott? About 20? 21?
24?
I think he's a baby, you know.
I thought he was 21.
He's 23 in August.
23 in August.
Yeah.
He's in that age. Yeah, listen, I think Bournemouth are right. I think Bournemouth should do everything in their power this summer to sell none of the stars. If they've got 3 or more years.
Croupy, thank you.
Yeah, no, but if they've got 3 or more years, I'd be saying to Arsenal, I'll be saying to Man United, I'd be saying to City, because it's 3 or more years, I'll be telling the players blunt, unless they offer exceedingly high money, it isn't happening. They've got to move like Brighton do, especially as they're in Europe. Because listen, Bournemouth next year, Brighton, all these teams have a chance in the Europa League and Conference League because the Premier League is so strong right now, and it would be a shame for them. I know that Palace lost Eze. Who else did Palace lose this summer?
Gay.
And they still went on to win the Conference League as an example. But at the same time, you're thinking if they can hold on to most of their players and add a few, and their recruitment has been excellent, they'll be in a really strong place. And maybe it's one of those things where they turn around to Alex Scott and Croupy and say, listen, we'll put you on the new deals. We'll pay you a bit extra. We're going to reject everything unless it's crazy money. But what we'll promise you is we will entertain the selling of you next year for a reasonable price if people are still interested, which gives these...
Isn't that what they did with Semenya, Terry? Because I'm pretty sure they just signed to a new contract in the summer and then sold him in January.
Well,
that's what I mean.
They gave him a buyout clause. And maybe they do that. Maybe they turn around to Alex Scott and go, look, new deal, 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand a week pay rise. Now we're in Europe. But what we'll do is we'll put a buyout clause in for a sensible amount of money, say 65 million for next summer, that can be activated, and then that way the player can commit, not worry about his future too much, have that financial improvement. But it's
also got to think as well. Maybe with if Iraola's leaving, there's been speculation he's going to Palace. Also, they don't want to lose their best players. If he's going, you know, they don't want him to take the best players with him as well. So it could also be just a shore up. I don't know if there's been any speculation about the Bournemouth manager, but that might also
Marco Silva,
Marco Rosa.
Sorry.
Yeah, so maybe that also has a part in if he's liked by the manager. Maybe they also want to shore up.
Marco Rosa really likes Alex Scott. Like, I think he made it quite clear when he joined. He's like, Alex Scott's a very good player. Really rates him as well. So I think also we need to not forget is that this isn't Bournemouth's first rodeo when it comes to selling their top players. As in, like, even they didn't get European football last season, they were able to shaft. They were able to. I was about to say shaft, but they actually didn't really shaft them. They got 57 million pounds for like Zabanyi from PSG. And the only reason why Dean Huijsen went for about 50 million euros was because he had a buyout clause, which they triggered.
It's just been announced now by Ben Jacobs. Ryan has a 100 million euro release clause, but it becomes active next summer.
Yeah. So they've learned their mistakes with Dean Huijsen when they kind of undervalued the release clause when they put some extortionate release clause. But yeah, this isn't their first rodeo. They know exactly what they're going to do. And I think Premier League clubs are going to have to pay a premium for their players. If it's outside of the league, then maybe they don't have to.
That's also why I think it's looking at players from outside the league is also important, because there are Man United booked Senna Lamens in the summer. I think he's one of the best goalies in the league this year, and he cost us about 18 million pounds. I'm hoping Ederson can do similar at 30 million. Come in and you go. Actually, also when you buy players for a lower amount of money, I don't know about you, there's always this perception that they do better than sometimes players you pay 100 billion for. And I don't know, sometimes free food tastes really nice. because you didn't pay for
Yeah.
it. But you pay a lot of money for food, and you're like, oh, it wasn't as good as I hoped it would be for £40 a steak. You're like,
100%.
you know what I mean?
100% Terry, yeah.
Gives you a £20 steak, but it's free. You're like, oh, that was amazing, man. And I think sometimes there's that element there. And I like all these these players, but I like Man United being a little prudent and a little thrifty. The main reason I like it is it's the complete opposite to how we behaved in a 10-year period that made my club fall apart. And maybe I'm just different to other United fans. Maybe I'm going to be proven wrong this summer. But I prefer going out there, trusting the scouts, getting players in for sensible prices, bringing players in on good money to all of us on this panel. We'd all have 75 grand a week. But that isn't – we were giving players like Fred double that, and they weren't even as good as him. And, we were just offering stupid money to everybody. And I also feel like there was no incentive for these players to perform and get better and get new contracts because they join on a 6-year deal on 200 grand a week. Well, what's the incentive now for these guys, Look, viewers, give us your thoughts. Give us your opinions. A super chat that's come in here that says Gordon is cheaper than Rashford due to salary. Also, Newcastle will sign who?
The Betis winger, Azazuli. Yeah.
60 million euros, of which Barca get back 20 million. And Flick personally requested Gordon due to his system. It's a bargain. Well, he's going to have to score a lot for it to be a bargain, but you could be right. And thank you, Luke Skywalker, for encouraging everybody to hit the like button today. One of the other big stories that's been circulating is Morgan Rogers to Arsenal. And Anton, what's your thoughts on this as potentially being one of the first new players to join the current champions of England?
Ever since I've heard about this news, I've literally been doing backflips. Not literal ones. I don't want to injure myself, but he's a perfect fit. He's a perfect fit to what I want this Arsenal team to look like. Now, there are I've had some arguments with some gooners. There are a lot of ones who are like, I want a real, true winger. But for bring back the clips, I've been saying the whole time that I wanted to see Eze play there on the left-hand side. And I think that Morgan Rogers is actually more natural left of the two. Both of them prefer, I think, to play down the middle and play central. But he is such a good player. If you've seen, even that game against Man United, they tried doubling him and tried to deny him space as much as possible. The second they switch off, Morgan Rogers is burying that thing in the bottom corner or top corner, I believe. You can't give him any space for even a second. He is such a quality player. He's a game changer, and we're missing game changers. Our one weakness this season, and I think has been well noted, is our attack. And if you have a Morgan Rogers and you add him in, and I can only imagine a lineup with Saka and Rogers and Eze and Gyökeres together, it would be hard to focus your defense on one of those players. They're all going to kind of cook, because if you were to double Saka and you leave Rogers open on the left-hand side, he's going to be eaten all day, and same with vice versa. So I think it takes us already to another level, because we've already got the best defense, I believe, in Europe. Our midfield is up there. I know Zubimendi tailed off towards the end, but you put that player on Arsenal, we're going to another level. I don't know what you guys think.
I want to know how it works.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because me, I don't know if Kwess, you were there. You were there yesterday when we were talking about Morgan Rogers. Well, yeah, you were.
Yeah.
I thought you might have left by that point. We were talking about it yesterday on Mo's channel, and we were like, he's a certified baller. But how does he fit in that team? Because we got your best. I think your best team involves Calafiori as your inverted fullback. For me, Morgan Rogers, the kind of winger that he is, he's not the kind of player that will benefit if Calafiori is going to be that inverted fullback, and especially if Eze is going to be playing that advanced 8/10. I feel like it's just going to get all congested and it won't work. That's why I think maybe from the way I'm looking at it, you'd rather get a player that's not a conventional cut inside winger, but a player that can stand up as defender, take him on, and provide a lot of space for your other players to flourish. That's how as
I said, Ram, though, last year when we were talking about Eze and the same questions were coming up, and I said, look at Leandro Trossard as the profile, because even now we're having teams where you got Trossard and you got Eze in it at the same time, and those teams have been winning. I just see Morgan Rogers is a much better version of Leandro Trossard when he plays out on the left. Same idea if I were to have Eze play out there. I think, to be honest, well, from my opinion, I actually do think that our best lineup has Nkapie in it. I mean, again, it's horses for courses. Different opponents, require different, combination of players to try to break them down. But I actually think that Nkapie gives you a lot more width, which allows a Rodgers or an Eze to kind of invert towards the inside and kind of Arsenal. To be honest, Arsenal need to score more goals down the middle. So if Arsenal can have more players that drift central, I think that actually helps us become a better team because we are way too reliant on playing down the wings. So if we got players who are more inclined to kind of move towards the center of the park, I actually think it's beneficial towards Arsenal.
Don't you mean way too reliant on set pieces?
I wouldn't say we were reliant on set pieces. I said we use set pieces as a weapon to turn draws into victories. But that's what I would say on that.
I'm probably in agreement with you. Oh, you don't think so?
I don't think Villa will let him go. He signed an extension until 2031. I feel sorry for Villa because every time they get themselves forward, it seems that this PSR and the money situation, that all their players get linked with moving away. I don't think they let him go. And if I'm him, I get it. Arsenal are champions, but Villa are also flying. They're going to be in the Champions League. Emery's a fantastic manager. I don't see him going. I will say it now. Come the start of the season, I think Morgan Rogers will still be at Aston Villa.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. Okay.
I remember Kate having these conversations about 9 months ago when you said that about Eze, and you told me that Eze wasn't going to go to Arsenal, was going to go to Spurs. Only 48 hours later, he was an Arsenal player.
Yeah, but this is a different situation. They've just...
If Arsenal had been in for him, it would have been a different conversation. If Arsenal were in for him and Spurs, I would have said Arsenal are going to get him. But you weren't in for him.
Until the final hour.
Until the final hour, I think.
Rodgers is a different situation anyway. They've just won a trophy. They're going to want to, as Kate said, they're going to want to push on. So I think it's going to be harder to get him out. And don't forget, guys, there's all this new SCR rules as well, right? So in terms of Europe, now Villa are, with the changes and everything, if they've got 70%, it's good. It might restrict some clubs as well.
At the same time, though, if we win on Saturday, what we can spend on transfers will be astronomical. We already got prize money from the Premier League. If you go when we win the Champions League as well, I believe it'll be somewhere around around £625 million combined of prize money if you win both. So we can afford these players. And I think
that's not the
reports I've read, I think that Arsenal are pretty far down the line with this deal. So
I agree with Anton, but I think it's more than that. Let's use Chelsea as an example here. Chelsea right now are muddied, as we would say as fans. But if Chelsea were prepared to pay the asking price and the salary, Morgan Rogers, in my opinion, would leave Villa in its current state for Chelsea still. Man United's, Chelsea's, Liverpool's, Arsenal's don't lose their pull because of a bad season or two. They are still and will always remain for at least the next 10 years, all of them, more attractive than Villa's, Tottenham's, Palace's, Brentford's, Brighton's. There is just a different knock when the clubs of this size, this heritage, come calling for you. And sometimes players are sort of respectful and go, do you know what? I'm not going to force a move. And if my club doesn't agree to sell me, I'm going to stay. But if Arsenal and Villa can agree a deal, I think it will get done. But more so, I think Morgan Rogers wants to go. I think Morgan Rogers fancies a giant football club. And I don't mean it as a disrespect to Villa. And I do get your point, Kate, that it feels like just they start growing, they lose a player. But that's the food chain at the end of the day. And I think it's a food chain thing. There is just clubs that are the same as it's still going on now, even though our country's got more money, our league's got more money. When you've got players, and it doesn't normally happen with English players. I know Anthony Gordon is now going to Barcelona, but we were looking at it yesterday. Only 4 British players in Barca's history have played there. Archibald from Tottenham all those years ago, Gary Lineker, Rashford, and now Gordon. There's like 4 players.
Yeah.
Real Madrid have more, but again, you still could probably count the English players that went to Real Madrid on the palm. Beckham and McManaman,
Owen, Jonathan Woodgate.
Bellingham, Jonathan Wood.
Iverson?
Garrison's Danish.
Oh, not bad.
But yeah, I mean, there aren't many. But the point I'm making is that we all know that when Saliba's in love with Arsenal right now, it isn't a shock to go in the next 2 or 3 years if he keeps playing this well. You're probably going to see a Barca or a Real Madrid knock on the door for the player, and it wouldn't be a shock for Saliba to go, "Thank you, Arsenal. I've won a Prem, 2 Prems, the champs, but I want to go to one of those clubs." The same thing happens in England when an Arsenal. And this is why I think football fans have got to learn to not be. Newcastle fans are often some of the worst online for this. If you talk about their players, they get very, very, very offended. very offended. But
you know exactly what that's like.
When their club linked to like Brentford players, none of their fans shut up talking about it. But again, it's a food chain. Like we're all our clubs are predators on some degree. But unless you're Real Madrid at their peak, I think Man United now peak. We lost Ronaldo. That's it. That we didn't want to sell. But there's a handful of clubs that don't lose their best players when they're at their peak. City, got to give them a lot of credit. Really and truly, in the last 10 years, they have been true. No one took their best players. You know, United really, we only had in my lifetime that Fergie didn't want to get rid of was Cristiano Ronaldo, one player. It doesn't happen to these teams. When you're an Aston Villa, you could win the league, and I still think bigger clubs could take your players off you.
I mean, Leicester won the league. They lost Kante, they lost Mahrez, they lost Drinkwater all in the same summer.
Yeah, I suppose that's a slightly.
But they needed to sell. They needed to sell, didn't they?
It's a slightly different situation because obviously Leicester's so far away from.
They were the outlier.
Yeah, that's like a the Villa. The only reason why I'd maybe find it a little bit difficult is I think in Arteta's era, I've probably seen him sign maybe 2 other like fully established players. So in my head, I'm thinking of Eze and Rice as players that were fully established in terms of well-known in the league. Like other than that, Havertz, but nobody rated him, so it's a slightly different situation. Other than that, I'm
Still
going
don't
like
rate him.
like Trossard was like a so-and-so. You would take him, maybe not. Not a lot of other clubs in England were like screaming for him. Chelsea asked a couple of times. Saliba, Gabriel, they're from other places. Like, so this to me would I think it would signal, okay, if they do land Rodgers, that to me is like, okay, Arsenal are preparing themselves to go and dominate for the next 2 or 3 years. Because I just don't see how you get Rodgers and don't do that, in my opinion. But I also am like, I get where Kate's coming from, and I'm going, Villa still are a very, very decent outfit. And he's got like the boys club situation over there. He's the man, the manager believes in him. He's like top of the club. Like, so I just don't know. I don't know.
Do you know what, Kwess? I was just thinking as you're talking. Firstly,
jump in for a second. I'm sorry. I just said this by Ryan. He made this, and I didn't see who it's brilliant. Got Ram in the bottom. His slot's still here. I like it. You got Kate there, says I can't wait for the relegation battle next season between us.
don't look like that.
You do look like that.
You do, Kate.
Kwess is great. It says it could be worse. I could be a Sunderland fan. Oh wait, even they're better than us. Better season than us. Thank God the season is over, is what Sarah says. You've got Anton there with the Premier League, and then there's me with Lamar. And this is a real song of Lamar. Someone should tell you how much I love you. It's a great song. Right.
Why are the ribbons on my trophy blue? They should be red and white.
That's what that don't even look like.
Why are you in an Arsenal shirt?
And why do you look like James Madison, Terry?
Yeah, that's like,
when I lose weight, I'm a very good-looking man. Let's have it right. Let's have it right. I am a stunner. I'm an absolute stunner when I lose weight. But no, there's a long-going joke, Sarah, that I'm a secret Arsenal fan. It's a long.
It's not a joke. It's a fact.
But we just said Lamar is
Lamar is also a Spurs fan. Yeah, sorry.
Ryan, we did.
No, but what I was going to say back on the Rodgers thing, I remember when we bought Declan Rice from West Ham, he also had just won the Conference League, and but the henceforth was qualifying for the Europa League, and they were in Europe then as well. So I think, by the way, the boys club point was the one that kind of triggered this in my head. Can you imagine that Rodgers, Saka, Eze, and Rice would play together for both club and country? That would be good for England as well, because I remember when Spain, they were dominating, at Barcelona and also in they won the Euros, they won the World Cup. They had all the same players playing each other for both club and country. You have a chemistry and the familiarity there. So I think that Rodgers to Arsenal fits us like a glove. It would be amazing.
Viewers, look, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions in that comment section below. A breaking story since we've been live, actually, is that from Laurie Whitwell again, is that basically keep your eye out. Man United are really interested in Lewis Hall, and there is a fee, essentially a deal could be done there. And again, this is why United fans are again, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but you had a Lewis Hall to the Man United squad. Again, I think that's fucking good. It depends on the price, of course, but he's a good player. And there's just rumours that Eddie Howe ain't particularly keen on him. And I just think, fucking hell, Eddie Howe, are you mental? Are you mental? What a Chelsea Academy player as well, Kwess. What an academy you've got.
I know, man. I know I'm hurt. I can't even lie. He's one of the players that hurt me the most. Like, he's a top player. Like, defensively, he has lapses in concentration, but what player doesn't? But, like, he's a solid player, man. Like, yeah, I was kind of surprised they didn't take him to the World Cup, to be fair. Bit of a mad one there. Not sure about that.
Don't start on that again. I think the whole country's just started writing about that score. We're not going to go back into it. No more.
Yeah, man.
My nan said it feels like 1939 again. So the Germans are here. They're taking over. But yeah, Lewis Hall, I'd love that deal. A few people sent it in to me again. What do you think? And yeah, I'd love it. We need a long-term replacement for Luke Shaw. We still lack. Luke Shaw's been good defensively this year, but we lack a bit of dynamism down that left wing, especially when Dorgu was out injured, because Cunha likes to cut inside, and we really could do with a young, energetic fullback that can get up and down, can put balls into the box, and can be a threat. And again, you start looking at the players we're linked with. Ederson looks like he's coming through the door. Tchouameni's, Mateus Fernandez's, Lewis Hall's. You start adding those sort of four, and then adding a couple more players on top. And I'm excited about next season from a United perspective. Not carried away, not crazy, but definitely excited. One of the other stories that's also gone crazy today, I'm going to go to Sarah first on this, is £100 million bid reportedly being made by Barcelona for Julian Alvarez. Alvarez has told his agent and Atletico Madrid that if the two clubs can agree a deal, he wants to go Barcelona. I think that's very interestingly worded. He hasn't said he only wants Barcelona, but that's his preference as an example. But Atletico are now enacting what the media have been saying for a long time. We've covered this story quite a bit in the last 6 months, that Barca are the players' preferred club, but Atletico are going to play like such hardball with them. PSG and Arsenal are still interested, but they seem to be sitting on the sidelines, maybe waiting for the deal to collapse between the two football clubs. But how big a move is this for Barca? And from an Arsenal perspective, because he is one of their targets, who could they pivot to if they can't get Julian Alvarez?
I mean, I can't speak from an Arsenal perspective because I don't really know. So I don't know, but I don't know who else they at that price, 100 mil, they would realistically want. Like, is he definitely leaving Madrid?
He put a transfer request.
Yeah, he will be leaving.
So then it would probably be if he wants to stay in Spain, not come to it depends if he wants to come to the Premier League, doesn't it? If he wants to come to the Premier League, then he probably does go Arsenal. But if he wants to stay in Spain, then probably go to the Barca.
Yeah, are you upset about it, Anton? Because he has been linked to you. There's been a number of stories saying that you guys, some have said you're the front runners, some have said you're not, and we kind of cover all of this on the terrace as a fan channel. But they've put the first bid in. However, they're about £20 million shy of the asking price. I thought personally, once they got Gordon, I was like, well, they've got no money. How are they going to get both of them? They fucking bid for them both. They're about to sign Bernardo Silva. I don't know where.
Apparently, I was reading around that they're trying to get Hincapié, and I'm like, well, we haven't even signed him yet. Like,
now they need better centre backs than Hincapié, bro.
They're letting go of a few though, right? They're letting go of a couple of defenders, isn't it? Centre backs, right backs. I think I saw today. So
what I would like do you know what I'd like to see the odds on? I'd like to see the odds on when in the summer Barcelona come out and say we can't register certain players.
Yeah.
Where is this money?
Yeah,
it's the economic levers,
my first thought.
Economic levers, bro.
No.
Yeah,
Laporta's already gone to the piggy bank. He's taken all that money out. He's
Sick.
already gone. He's already sold off all the rights to everything except La Masia, which is the only thing that's left. I guarantee they will not sell the rights of La Masia. Where are they getting? And they need another. They need another centre back, and their defense is ass. Look, I don't care, Barca fans. You can cuss me all you want. Your defense is ass. You need a centre back as soon as possible.
They can have Romero.
Yeah.
maybe.
I think they need to go for better than Romero, but I just don't know where they're getting this money from. Where is it?
Come on, bro. They got seats to sell. They've got hot dog machines, drinks, everything, bro. Listen, everything has a price, bro. In this life, and Barca will find it, bro. Every year, there's some economic lever we just don't know about. All right, and they're gonna pull it, and they've got the money. You know, just let it be what it is.
Back on the question Terry asked me though, I'm gonna say I was almost assuming we were gonna get Alvarez. I was writing lineups with Arsenal, having Alvarez in it in my dreams for like months now, and it's a bit of I was just looking at in terms of like I've been running this agenda. It's not I wouldn't call it an agenda, but I'm thinking that we can get rid of Kai Havertz finally and have a Julian Alvarez that could basically do everything that Kai Havertz can do, but at a higher level. And I thought that finally it would fix Arteta's galaxy braining when it comes to lineups. And the same question that came to me was like, yeah, how are they affording this? Like, they literally just got Gordon yesterday, and I was listening to you, Terry, and all your videos being like, hey, you know, they got Gordon. That tells me that Alvarez probably will be too expensive for them now. And I'm like sitting there being like, yes, all right, there you go. And then less than a day later, I'm looking at reports saying that Alvarez is, you know, there's 100 million bid. And I'm like, what? Where is this money coming from?
To be fair, he did promise. Laporta did promise in his manifesto that he would get Alvarez. He'll sign Hansi Flick and he'll get Julian Alvarez.
He did. I mean, this Barca fan says, as a Barca fan, we've got money, but FFP is an issue. Yeah, look, we understand that, but that's what we're referring to, is that you guys every year are on the borderline of failing FFP, but you find a way. And I'll be honest with you, I know you just won La Liga, but there ain't that much money in it. It compared to, like, you know, I was reading that relegated Premier League teams get more prize money than winners of German League, Italian League, and maybe even not the TV money, but the prize money is higher, right? For getting relegated. Yeah. And I was surprised. I was really surprised. I thought yesterday, look, and I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't want Arsenal getting Julian Alvarez. Like, I don't want Arsenal to continue to get better. But if they sign him, I'm not going to sit there and slag the player off. I just don't. You get a lot of content creators that do that. They'll praise a player and then he joins a rival and they find all the things wrong with him. I find that a bit. I nearly said the G word that gets you in trouble nowadays, but I just find that a bit stupid. Do you know what I mean? I just find that like not. But I'd rather Barca get him than Arsenal, or Barca get him than, because Chelsea were linked to him a year ago, and it ain't coming to Man United. I'm happy about it, but I do agree with people. I don't quite know where they're pulling these levers from, where they're pulling these aces from. Yeah, I reckon Sarah knows what I'm talking about, and I think Kate does. Do you ever remember that episode of Only Fools and Horses where they're playing cards, right? And it's like, where do you pull those aces from? The same places you pull those kings from. And there's just, if you ever watch Only Fools and Horses, you don't get the reference. But it's just, I sometimes feel that they just pull these aces out of nowhere, Barcelona, every year, that maybe other teams couldn't quite get away with. But there we go.
It's the name, isn't it? People want to play for them. But look, it's so early. The window's not even open yet. I wouldn't even be surprised if you hear Spurs' name in that mix, because we are so desperate.
What? For Julian Alvarez?
We just spend like just stupid money for stupid players, because that's the thing.
People underestimate.
I should not laugh, because people laughed at me in the past when I was saying things that came true. So maybe I should back off and laugh after laughter.
That's true. Yes.
So you lot are looking. Yeah, you lot are more likely to sign Julio Iglesias than you are.
I'll take you all day long.
I bet you would. Or a bit of Engelbert Humperdinck, someone like that. A bit of Engelbert. But you lot are linked to. You lot look like you're about to get. Well, you've just got Andy Robertson, and you're going to get Senesi.
Yeah.
That sounds more like your level.
He's a top.
Hey, respect. No. Do not do
Yeah.
that. Respect Andrew Robertson, bro. What are we doing?
Yeah,
what are we
look,
doing?
he's not in his prime. He's
Respect Robbo. Respect Robbo.
Senesi's a top centre back though. He's a top centre back.
Do you know
playing
what?
out the back is serious.
I agree with you, Chris. When Arsenal won the league, I text every Arsenal fan that I know. So congratulations, except Anton, because I knew you'd be the unbearable.
Yeah, I know. I'm still waiting for the text, Kate.
That people hate Arsenal fans. Just there, right there. Everyone else has been really good, and I've been really delighted for them. But you, no.
I'm sorry.
But
Gal's been on a revenge tour. I have not been on a revenge tour, so I'm just gonna say.
I haven't watched him, but he was very nice when I texted him. But Terry, our owners have put out statement after statement over the last 48 hours saying that things are going to change, and you know we've got to trust in the board again because they know they've made mistakes and they're going to change they've ripped up the wage structure and things are going to be different. You know, all the stuff we've heard a million times before. But look, if you know Robertson looks like it's done, Senesi looks like it's going to be done. Both decent players. I mean, I wasn't over the moon at Robertson, but my view is with what De Zerbi's done, keeping us up, anybody he wants, I'm behind him 1,000,000%. I'm not going to say nothing until he shows me otherwise, because as far as I'm concerned, he performed an absolute miracle keeping us in that Premier League. So if he wants him, he's got my backing.
Yeah, my biggest concern is that does he actually want them, or are they just two players on a free that we're just looking at getting? We've got Van der Ven as like sort of a left-sided centre back. Obviously, Senesi is really good for squad rotation, which is something that we've massively missed, along with a striker, FYI, since we still came. But we need to strengthen in loads of areas. So I think getting those two in early is a move just to tighten up, just to stretch. These are not like big name signings. These are not like names that are going to radically change us. It's not going to be enough. We are going to have a huge overhaul. So I think it's the start of something that's really big. And if it's starting to lay foundations, you put Salza on loan. We've got no one really at left back. Ben Davis is probably retiring or moving on somewhere else. So we don't really have anyone else to cover that left back. We need experience in the squad, which we're massively lacking. So I think they're okay. But we just need strengthening left wing, right wing, strike. We've got so much other business to do. These are like two small fish in what I would expect, as Kate said, from what we've been told from our club. We're going to do a lot more. So
you lot are so ungrateful.
Whoa.
No, but we've got Ben Davis. He has been at our club for as long as Robertson's been at Liverpool. He's a club legend to us. I'm not saying he's the same level. I'm saying
fair.
I'm saying in terms of like club legends, like Ben Davis couldn't even play and went to watch the last game of the season. Like he loves the club, so it's going to be a huge loss. But we need to replace the experience, is what I'm saying.
No, that's a fair point. Sorry, Kate. Sorry, the reason why the Ben Davis one is because he's been there so long. He is a legend of the club. Like every time I think about Spurs' biggest moments, if there was a crime scene, he was there. So that's why I'm like, whoa, with the Ben Davis one. But I get what you're saying. The reason why I'm thinking I would maybe push back on this being the start. I look at the way De Zerbi used to play at Brighton, yeah. And I remember that, I think it was the second season or first season, he had Colwill on loan from Chelsea and he was playing everything through Colwill off the left foot. And that's where Colwill learned, like you can go back and find the interviews, him talking about learning to put his foot on the ball, stop the play, read the game and then find the pass in behind. That's what Senesi does. He always does it at Bournemouth. And that's why I think Chelsea were looking at potentially bringing him in as a replacement or as in cover, sorry. So for me, I'm looking at that guy and is this actually like maybe there's a move for Van der Ven post World Cup and Senesi's actually like a marquee signing? I don't know. I'm just wondering.
No,
I hope not. I hope not.
He's a free. Second of all, we're going to get rid of Dragusin. We're going to get rid of Romero. So we're going to need to buy another centre back.
Yeah,
we will buy another centre back.
But surely a right-sided one, right?
Why. But we haven't got a left-sided set at the moment. This is the whole problem with Spurs. We're just bloated in all the wrong areas. Like we've got three right-sided centre backs, so we need to it's a rebuild of the squad, right? So look, at the end of the day, I know what you're saying. At the end of the day, if De Zerbi does not get what he wants, and we are bottom half of the table next year, he will walk. He will walk, no doubt, and he will sharp this board again for what they've already done. Because now they have to actually Put it into
Back
action.
up.
17th
Yeah, I hear
twice
that.
in a row. Like, we're fed up with it. So
17th again.
will,
Ole, ole.
yeah, exactly. He will get what he wants. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you know,
Do
that's
you know
why,
who
that's
I'd bring
why,
back? I'd bring back that Vuskovic lad.
No,
They
Amazing.
are
don't
supposed
ruin
to
him.
do
Don't
that.
ruin him.
Top player.
Yeah.
Top player. Seen him in
Don't ruin
preseason,
it.
and I thought, whoa, that guy's like, he was like 19, and he looked like the most
He's been-
experienced player on the pitch.
He's
Wow.
been the most.
That-
He's been the best performing centre back in the Bundesliga this season.
Yeah,
that depends.
he's
Said
serious.
Hamburg team.
Look,
Very
Barca are in for him as well. Look, that all depends. See, I can talk about Spurs
And
players.
Bayern.
I know,
Don't forget
I
Bayern.
know, yeah, I know more about what's going on at our club, but like he is having conversation. At the end of the day, he's 19 and he's not prem proven just yet. Yeah, he's really good in Europe, but how many times have we seen players good in Europe put a 19-year-old under that pressure with no backup, or Kevin Danso as backup? Like it's going to be a really considered, you know, depending on, I think it all rides on Romero. I think it all rides on a lot of it is going to ride
I
on.
think if you're good enough, if you're good enough, you're old enough, and I think you're at that point in your in Spurs' time where you can allow the likes of Vuskovic to start playing.
We've got such a young squad. The whole point of this is we need leadership. We need experience.
Yeah, you add your leadership bits in there, but I still think you can have a really like a core of young players.
It's still a young, experienced backline. It's a young, experienced backline. You're talking about getting rid of Porro, selling him to Man City today as well. So if that goes,
is he going?
That could be 50 mil to Man City. So look, there's loads of moving parts. Yeah, but we want Savinho for 60, 70. So there's so much going on.
They're shafting you. No, you guys have to riot now.
That's
you know if that deal happens, yeah? You got to kick off.
Defend for Toffee, Kwess. He's brilliant at crossing the ball and he's good for going forward, but he can't defend for Toffee.
But is that not like the same side of the same coin as in Savinho can't attack? Well, Toffee too. Oh, okay, fair.
No, but the difference with Porro is this is what I'm saying about the Spurs squad. We are bloated in the wrong areas. We've got Spence. Spence wants first team minutes. Spence is a right back. He wants first team minutes. He's playing for England. So the decision is which of those two goes. And if Porro has 2 years left on his contract and they can get money for him, then maybe you keep Spence. I'm not saying he's better. I'm just saying then you need a centre back who can also play right back.
Yeah, okay.
This is the whole. There's so.
Hearing you say Spence is a right back makes me
guys
sweat about England in the World Cup. I'm like, why did Tuchel put another right back at left?
He's the fastest player. He's the fastest player in our squad. He's the fastest player.
We were just talking about Lewis Hall earlier, and I'm like, that's a. Oh wait,
but he offers something different. It's what Tuchel said, right? He's a man-on-man defender. He offers something different to what they don't have in the squad. I think that's why. Look, I don't know. I'm not here to defend Spence. I'm just saying in terms of our squad, like when we're talking about our back line and buying all these players, this is the thing. We still need strikers and wingers. So those two players that we spoke about, Senesi and Robertson on a free, is a no-brainer if you need all these other players in.
No, I totally agree. A few super chats here. It says Unai Emery will be furious if they sell him Rodgers to Arteta. I think he'll be furious whoever he goes to be fair. Does Unai Emery have an issue with Arsenal? Is there an issue there?
Yeah. I mean, he tried to beat City on the last day, so he clearly has bygones of bygones now, you know. So,
well, you'd won the league by then, Anton.
City bottled it. City
bottled that, man.
City bottled the league.
Look, City did bottle it, but
this year says Barca has 250 million to spend without sales. Have made over 850 in revenue 3 years in a row. Also, new Spotify deal and the rejuvenation of the Camp Nou issues. Yeah, listen, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, what they keep telling the media when it comes to the Rashford deal is because of the salary. They're like, can we negotiate the fee down because we can't afford it? So the point is, I understand all of that, but revenue, okay, they might have 350 to spend, but revenue isn't the same as what you're able to spend. And I want to see the books, bro. I don't trust the books. I want to be honest with you.
And plus their I think the operating income is very, very high. I think that the likes of Pedri and Frankie de Jong on stupid money.
But you also got to remember if you sold off a lot of your rights to things, the revenue might be high, but how much of that revenue have you got to farm off to other people because you sold the rights to it? So if I sell 90% of the Football Terrace tomorrow, that means 90% of the revenue goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
No matter
what, tickets and everything, like
borrowing money off your family because you don't have a lot of money, and then 3 days later buying your missus a Birkin bag. Like, they'd be like, what the hell did that come from? You know what I mean? Like,
why did you do that, Anton? It's just not nice. It's definitely you did that, didn't you? And your dad was like, what are you doing, bro? Barca sell out the Camp Nou, both men's and female teams, and the stadium is at 60%. When it's a 100K capacity in 2027, Barca is a money-making machine. Now, I understand that, listen, you will be, but Barca have always been a money-making machine, and you still got into... Barca and Real Madrid have always made loads of money, but you've also both been clubs that consistently over a 20, 30-year period have had your governments of Spain bow them out of trouble. So it's like most clubs don't operate in a profit. Most clubs operate at the very least evens, if not a slight loss, as an example. But if you're in a better position, bro, fair play. I'm only again, I don't, and no one on this panel probably does. None of us go out of our way daily to look at the situation you're in. I'm only going on the loose reports that I've read. Thank you for giving this information. Really respect it, bro, a lot. Thank you.
But Terry, I think though, with the comments, those two super chats, bigger the super chats, for me, when I read it, they're talking in the future of like 2 to 3 years where they could be like the powerhouse that they used to be.
But maybe they're spending ahead of time though. So this is what and again, there's an element of this where you look at it and go, and I think Chelsea have got to take this risk this summer. I think Chelsea have got to go. We've gone, and now Chelsea are not in Europe, so they can lose a little bit more and not be caught out because of the new Premier League rules. But if Chelsea don't go out and buy 4 or 5 proper experienced, high quality players and lose money in the short term, I don't think they'll get back into the Champions League, which means they're going to lose more money in the long term. I think sometimes you have to gamble a little bit. And maybe that's what Barca are doing here, where they're going, right, we're going to spend a bit of money up front and then hopefully not spend as much in the future, or pay it off in the future. We'll see what happens. And I'll do a bit more reading on it now. I've read those super chats. Thank you. As a Barca fan, I would love
Vuskovic,
but Spurs won't let that happen. Also, I think Flick took Cruyff's word serious. Attack is the best form of defense. Or certainly is in La Liga. You're smashing that, my friend. You are smashing that league to pieces. Speaking of leagues, it's a Champions League final on Saturday. The club from North London is a club from lovely Paris. Paris is just great, isn't it? I love a bit of Riz. Love a bit of Paris. It's a great place. You ever been to Paris?
It's all right. In October.
It's all right. I want to say it's amazing. It's all right. It's all right.
In fairness, when I went, I used to go for the French Open, which was a massive kickboxing and karate tournament. It was just the one. I think it was because there was all these. We had a week there, and there's us Brits, there's the Americans, Canadians, all up, and we'd all just like. It was a smaller tournament because it was like invite only. You had to be in the elite categories to go. So you had like less competitors there. So we used to go out a lot and socialize. And our tournament, because when I was a kid, I used to go a lot. We used to get our competing done in the. When I was an adult, it was the only tournament where adults compete before kids. The first 2 days we competed, then we had 3 or 4 days in Paris. It was great. I had some great times in Paris.
Were you in a camp though, Terry? Like, as in, like the camp where all the fighters are like congregated.
Yeah. But so what would happen is, we were normally where Team USA and Team Canada were. So essentially, we would be in the same. They're normally both associations would hire out a big hotel or a couple of hotels near each other, and we'd all just be. So the whole hotel would be us. It was just great times. It was just time of my life. Love a bit of Paris. But Champions League final, and I am going to speak to you, Anton, about it. But Kate, my old pedigree chum, how do you see this game going, okay, this weekend? Will Arsenal win their first Champions League? Will they be the first team in North London to win the big one?
Look, everyone will remember last year when Liverpool got PSG and I said PSG will win, and everyone on this panel laughed at me that day. I said it would and it ended up 4-2 on penalties. I just like to point out.
Not me.
I've got to back my boys, PSG, no matter what. And this isn't me being an Arsenal hater. This is because, well, I am an Arsenal hater, but it's also because I think of gravy. And it's, I think if Arsenal rely on their set pieces like they do, they've got a chance. But PSG are beautiful to watch. Last year, they said it would be attack versus defense with PSG versus Inter, and PSG won 5-0, I think, in the end. I can never say his name, but you'll know what I mean.
Kvaratskhelia.
That's it. That's the name.
Cravadonna.
Best player in the Champions League this season. 10 goals, 6 assists in 15 games. This guy is unreal. And I just think if Arsenal let PSG play the way that they can, they're going to get. I don't think it'll be a tonking. I don't think it's going to be like a 5-0. But I fancy a 2-1 PSG win. I hope with every part of my body, Arsenal don't win because they're already completely unbearable. And they're such shit boring to watch as well.
Damn.
So,
have some respect for the champs, Kate.
No, I don't want to respect you because you're boring. It was, for me, PSG played football the proper way. They go, you know, we all know if Enrique could have 11 outfield players, he probably would. So come on, PSG. I should be wearing a PSG shirt and cheering on the lads on Saturday evening. There we go.
I wish I was as confident.
I respect it, Kate.
I wish I was confident.
First.
Damn.
Do you not see it going that way, Sarah? Or are you just petrified that Arsenal?
Yeah, I'm going into hiding. I'm going in hiding. I don't know. Do you know what? I think they got really cocky doing the parade the day after the Champions League. Like, I just feel now that they've won the Premier League, I've got a horrible feeling. I've got a horrible, horrible, horrible feeling. I don't know why. I can't explain it. And there's like some crazy stats that I've seen about whoever wins the Champions League, whoever's in the final, typically the team that lose, whatever country they're from, wins the World Cup. So if that's true and Arsenal lose, then England will win the World Cup. But I've just got a horrible feeling.
We need that England mad.
I've got a horrible feeling that, I don't know. I just feel like momentum's in Arsenal's favour. I feel like just...
Don't worry, Sarah.
They're winning it. They're winning it.
Look, put it this way. I think it's going to be a really tight game. And I know PSG absolutely batter most teams, but Arsenal have the best defense. Arsenal have the best defense. PSG have the best attack. So it's literally the best attack versus the best defense. So I think this is going to be I think this is going to be one of those games that's it's not as easy. I wish I was like PSG are going to win. But I think it could even go to extra time or something, like a 1-0 or something.
Hang on, Ram. Kwess, you think Arsenal are going to win?
Yep. I'm not. I'll be real with you. Yeah, I'll be real with you.
I'll make you a promise here. Yeah.
No.
I don't like
that. If we do win it, I'm leaving you off of my list of people I'm coming after, right? Because I remember this.
Will you remember me too?
Yeah, you too, Sarah. You're good.
Am I on that list as well?
I'm joking.
Well, we're yet to see, Ram.
I'll be in hiding. You won't even find me. So
you remember? Yeah, you remember I was telling you after the City game. I was like, it don't matter. Relax, bro. You're good. You'll win the league. Same thing for this Champions League final. Listen, Sarah's had it right. Yeah, it's best attack versus best defense. But you know what the thing is? Defense is woeful. Like you saw them in the Bayern game, yeah. Arsenal have barely had a game like that this season.
What?
Barely. Remember, I said barely.
We've never had a game like that this season.
I'm more the first bit you said.
The closest thing was Man United at home. That was the closest thing to it.
What I'm trying to say to you is, I'm not saying that the fullbacks are rubbish, yeah, because I know Hakimi is a world-class player. I know Mendes is a decent player. I've still not rated Mendes that highly since the Club World Cup. I said the guy got exposed by Gusto. That's a problem. So my thing is this, yeah, PSG has a relatively decent defense, but it's nothing on Arsenal's. Then I go midfield for midfield. PSG's is definitely better pound for pound, player for player. But Arsenal, again, has a very decent midfield. And if they do the Skelly experiment again, you will have far more control in the middle of the park. And then anything can happen, as we've already seen so far this season. It can work out again. Then you go forward line. This is not the league where Gyökeres is coming up against Burnley and Sunderland each week and having to play against low blocks. He's going to have free reign to run. And if it's Gyökeres versus Marquinhos, I have every confidence, yeah? I might not like it, but I have every confidence that Gyökeres will run him over. So to me, I can see this game very easily being PSG, attack, 5, 6, 7, 8 chances. Arsenal hit them on a break. 1 goal, stinky. Or they counter, goalkeeper saves it, corner, Gabriel Saliba, goal. That's why for me, I'm not looking at this like, oh my gosh, if they win, it's the end of it. I'm going, it would be cheeky for me to say it's Arsenal's to lose. It's definitely not. It's PSG's to lose. But I would be remiss if I was an Arsenal fan not going into this game with full confidence, because I would be looking at it like, I'm so sorry, PSG are good, cool, I hear it. But look at what we've done this season. That's how I would be looking at it. And they actually have weapons across the entire pitch. And Arsenal, the only team probably that's shown in their league and in Europe, they can win it different ways. They can spin your block and hit you for 3 or 4. They can also do stinky wins and set up 1-0 and just defend.
Yeah.
Those teams typically get the job done. So that's why I'm going, listen, anybody, look, I don't think it's bad to hate teams. I grew up hating Man United. I hated Arsenal. I hate everybody that hate me because I'm jealous. I want to win. I'm not going to like it if Arsenal win. Yeah? But I'm accepting it. It is what it is. I actually think it's a foregone conclusion. I think they're winning this game in the stinkiest way possible, and we're all just going to have to eat it. It just is what it is.
Chris, you
There's
got
also something about the revenge as well.
of like saying these things that make me smile, and then I'm like,
Anton, I will come to you. Sorry, what did you say, Sarah?
No, I think it's something about the revenge from last year as well, like the mentality of it, just like coming into this, like we said we were the best team in the league. Now we actually are the best team in the league. Now we've got a point to prove that we're the best in Europe as well. Like there's something, like football is a very mental game as well. There's a lot of psychology in it. These players, yeah, they're gonna want the plot twist. I don't know. I've just got a horrible feeling. I don't like it. I don't want it. PSG to win, but I've just got a horrible feeling.
Can we say the same thing about PSG? The fact that a lot of people this season were like, even myself, I was to an extent were doing this. I kept on saying they're having a hangover. They're not going to be the same. They won their first champs. They're going to fall off, but they haven't fallen off. And you talk about the Bayern Munich game, Kwess. You also forget to mention the second leg. Second leg,
I hear you.
Pacho was immaculate that game. And the one thing I had big problem with a lot of people cussing the defense. Why don't you cuss that midfield, and especially Vitinha, for not controlling that game? What did Vitinha do in the second leg? Control the game.
True.
Past
True.
playmaking, everything. That is, and the one thing, Arsenal's chasing history. PSG are chasing history as well. They're going to be the only second team in the history of the Champions League to go back-to-back in Champions League finals. Okay. Luis Enrique, and it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation for certain people's managers. He's going to be winning his 3rd Champions League title, and only Zinedine Zidane will join him as back-to-back Champions League winners. Bob Page is another one.
Yeah, but winning it for the first time is bigger than winning it back-to-back.
Enrique is a madman. Enrique is obsessed. You don't look like it, but he's like Pep. He's Pep. He is obsessed with just winning, being the most dominant team. You don't seem like it. He seems very cool, chill, everything. He's obsessed, guys. He's obsessed.
Arteta might just be the one.
Ram. You know what? You know what's so funny, Ram, right? You mentioned Enrique, so you make a lot of people look silly. I think Arteta, if he just already beaten Pep to the league title, if he beats Enrique to the Champions League as well, what a double. What a double that you could never, ever, ever take away from us.
Anton, how do you personally see it going? How do you think the game is going to pan out? How do you think the approach is going to be from Mikel Arteta and Arsenal to try and win this game? What do you think you're going to do?
I think the approach from Arsenal is going to surprise a lot of people, because I do feel like winning the title has taken a lot of pressure off of our shoulders. I've been speaking to Gooners the whole week. All of us are buzzing, just like the kind of exactly how Kwess was describing it. It's like, we've won the league now. Yeah. Why not go ahead and go and win this Champions League? I got to say, I have full respect for PSG's team. Their team is complete, especially their first 11 from front to back. And I got to say, I don't think their defense is that bad personnel-wise. Pacho, Marquinhos, Mendes, and oh my God, what's his name? Hakimi, right? Yeah, world-class players across that back line as well. The midfield is immense. The front line, I think Kvaratskhelia is the best attacker in the world right now. So I have full respect for what PSG have got, but I also have been backing this Arsenal team for the best part of 9-10 months. And one thing I know is that this Arsenal team does not get picked apart, does not get beaten. And we have, as Kwess said, the ability to beat teams in every different way. We can come at you with the attack. We can stink you out 1-0. And I think right now, I believe that we'll approach this game with mano a mano, because I think that we know now that we're fully healthy. I know. Look, I was saying this.
Hang on, I need to interrupt you. You think you're going to go attack v attack all
I didn't
out?
say attack v attack all out. No,
but that's what mono is. That's what it means.
Okay, fine. Sorry. I'm thinking that we can hit our throw our own punches as well.
Unless you think Luis Enrique is going to play like you, and you're both just going to sit back.
Imagine.
No, this is so. What I mean is by the way, I think that we can obviously sit in a shape, and it would be arrogant and naive not to. But I also think that we've got the attackers that can also punish them. We've got Saka, we've got Eze, we got Gyökeres. Like I think we go after them and we pick our spots. I think that we can be clinical in this game. So I feel the pressure is off of Arsenal. I even feel like even if we were to lose this game, we're turning around 24 hours later. We're having a parade in North London regardless. So had we not won the league, I would have had a really sick feeling in my stomach. But now I feel like there's nothing to lose. And if we win, we would remove that one thing that you guys got left, the rival fans have left over us, which is, well, your Champions Leagues, how many European titles have you won? Because if we win the big one,
oof.
Guys,
crazy.
Come back when you win 6.
And look, as Terry and Hassan,
Terry said Europe's the worst it's ever been right now, by the way. I just want you to say that's quite harsh.
Thank you, Terry.
As Terry Moore and Hassan was saying, now we can actually talk about football. Now we can actually seriously have a conversation.
Well,
you're right. No, you're right.
About football.
We're going to come back to that in a minute. I've got a prediction on the game, and I wouldn't say it's a hot take. I think if Arsenal survive the opening 20 minutes and are drawing or winning, I think they win it. I feel that if they concede in the opening 20 minutes of the game, PSG will then sit in and defend very well, like we saw them do against Liverpool, and will pick them off on the counter later in the match. So I feel this is going to be a very tight game. Look, if I can't, PSG are capable of smashing Arsenal. Arsenal are capable of putting 3 or 4 goals past PSG. It could happen. I'm not saying it's 100% going to be a tight game, but I think it's 90% it's going to be a 1-0, a 2-1. I don't see it being as high scoring as like a 3-2, actually. I think it's going to
No way.
But I look at it, I really do believe if Arsenal get through, I think the opening 20 minutes, I think PSG are going to go ham. I think they're going to throw the kitchen sink at it because that is the best way to beat Arsenal is score. I think is score. Again, when your team at their level, score early. If Arsenal score in the opening 10 minutes from a corner and then can just be hard to break down and counter against them, that's when Arsenal become, I think, the most dangerous in this particular tie. If it remains 0-0, what I have seen a few times with PSG this year, and we are nitpicking here, because I think we are looking at the 2 best teams overall in Europe, is they've had times where they have been a little bit frail. They do leave a little bit open. And what I think is different between this, and everyone can talk about the greatest European sides ever. If they go back to back, they're in that conversation. But the one thing that's different about this PSG team compared to the peak Barca team that beat Man United in 2 Champions League finals is this PSG team gives you a sniff. If the game states right, if they're winning, I think they can shut you out. But I think if it's a draw or they're losing, they will give you opportunities in the game as an example. So if that's my overarching view, I think PSG are the favourites. For me, I have PSG as the marginal favourites for this final. But if Arsenal survive the first 20 minutes and are either leading or drawing, I think they will go on to lift their first ever Champions League trophy. And my question for you, Anton, is if Arsenal go on to win this Champions League or have a very good final, maybe don't win it, play well, how close do you think are Arsenal to dominate in English football for the next 4, 5, 6 years with the squad you've got, with Pep leaving, and the other teams seemingly not at the races? United haven't had a title race, and I hate saying this, but we haven't had a title race since 2013. Chelsea, they're going into their 10th season without a title race. Spurs, they haven't had a title race in a long time. Liverpool are keeping the man who won them a league but took them massively backwards. One of the biggest point swings ever for a top 6 side in Premier League history. So how confident are you, win, lose or draw this final, that there is a chance here for Arsenal to dominate the English game?
So I'm here to pop the balloon of many of the hopium, the new agendas that are out there after Arsenal have won the league. Oh, it's only your 1 title in 22 years. Or, hey, Liverpool dropped off last year. And I'm here as the guy who told you that Liverpool would drop off knowing the reasons that led to such a drop off, that it's not the same with Arsenal. That we have a core of players who are in the prime of their career. So hence we don't have a Salah or a Van Dijk player who's going to fall off tremendously next year. We've got a manager who has been in place for now 6 years now, a process that has been in place that has led us to this moment that I don't believe that we are backing off of or changing. And also the other thing is we don't really change that much, because if we were going to, let's say, be more attacking, we already have had versions of this Arsenal team that can be more attacking even this season. And if we are aggressive and we kind of just polish the edges of the squad in terms of players who have been injured for, far too much, and replace them and just freshen it up. Like we already got, I was already talking about Morgan Rogers earlier. I don't see a world. I don't know who the contender would be, as Terry said, with Pep gone now. Not only that, by the way, Arteta has beaten Pep head to head. So he's actually beaten Pep head to head. If you were going to list the best managers in England starting next season, Arteta's got to be head and shoulders at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Now with what he's accomplished, he has
De Zerbi's top of the list. He saved us. He saved us. He saved us. He should get manager of the season, I swear.
What did you make?
You know who actually got manager of the season, Terry?
What did you make of Sarah? What did you make of De Zerbi's comment that staying up is better than winning the league?
No, did he say better, or did he say like different feeling?
He said better.
I think he meant it's a better feeling. Like it's a different feeling. It's a completely different feeling. I've never felt really like it. Like
I kind of get what he's saying, man. I kind of get
like the relief of just staying in the Premier League and not having to think about it versus how I felt last year when we won Europa. That was great, but it's completely.
Yeah, I think you're right. The relief is very, very. It's a bit like if you avoid a near-death experience. That's different from winning the lottery, but you'd rather win the lottery, though, wouldn't you? Like,
I think.
I didn't interpret it.
I think the thing was, we was so.
Great analogy.
Around Spurs for weeks and weeks and weeks was horrific. Literally, I lost all interest in football. I found it so painful to watch it. We couldn't get you on the show, Kate. You disappeared.
Painful, Kate. Painful.
Kate had genuine reasons, family reasons, but I am going to wind you up about it because I know you can take a joke. She turned into a cake. She was scone.
Yes. People were coming in my chat saying they were struggling with their mental health because of it. So I think what he's trying to say is that the feeling was better because it was such a build-up over weeks and weeks, and that feeling of relief, like Sarah said, when I say Jimbo broke down, like I've never seen anything like it. It was so emotional because, if we go down, that's going to cost our club 300 million and puts us in a completely different situation. So I don't think he was saying, I don't think he was trying to take any shine off Arsenal. I sat on here and said, if Arsenal win the league, they deserve it because the table doesn't lie. So I think you're looking into something that's not there, Terry. Something.
I think language barrier as well. I don't think he meant it like literally. It's better than winning the league.
I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, I think he meant what he said. Yeah, and I'll be real. If I heard Rosinha say that, I would have told him come outside. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have
imagine.
But I hear why he said it because I actually do. I'm pretty sure there is like a scientific study that. Like sadness lasts longer than happiness. So I kind of get what he's saying in that if we would have gone down, it would have been a dark day in the history.
Right. Question,
you know what I mean?
I'll give you an example. Man United lost that final to Spurs. No one talked about it 2 weeks after. Not because Spurs are small or anything, because you get over it. I've spoke to a few fans that were dreading Arsenal winning the league. And you were right, Terry. I'd muted everything about Arsenal on my ex. I didn't watch any of the parades. Why would I? And I've realised I haven't even noticed it going on. Now, if you might be living that part of North London, you maybe couldn't ignore it, but it goes away. If Spurs got relegated, in 20 years' time in a debate, somebody would be like, yeah, but we didn't get relegated. It would never.
How can you watch the Premier League knowing that your team's on it? You're like, oh, Wait, where's Tottenham's
I get
game?
that.
Oh, wait.
We probably
What?
wouldn't have been invited on the show today, Sarah, because we wouldn't be.
I know, and people are laughing at me in the chat saying, "What the hell is she talking about?" The guy saved us. If he's 7 games, if he didn't come in, we were down. We were down. So people can laugh at us, but we are a joke. We know it. We absolutely know it. That's why we're doing a rebuild. So he had seven games and saved us.
You guys best be careful though, because consistency over the last 2 years suggests you're 17th. So
yeah, exactly. And he saved us. Exactly.
See how smug he is right now. Do you see how smug he is right now?
That's what I'm saying. That Deserby is actually right, bro. Because had they have gone down,
do you know
we were going down. We under
the
Frank, we were
smugness.
going down.
The smugness ram comes from years and years and years of all of the rivals giving it to us for years.
Yeah, but you know what, Anton? You should
being the butt of everybody's joke for years.
Deserve it.
What?
You shouldn't treat all rivals the same. You should give it to the rivals that deserve it, or your fellow Arsenal fans that said Arteta would never win it.
Trust me, they're coming because I'm seeing them making videos. Hey, I always kind of said that if Arteta were to win, now that he's showed me something that now I can trust the process. I'm like,
that's mad.
As a Spurs fan,
you're dumb.
I would have cared so much more or hated the fact that Arsenal won the league so much more if we weren't in a relegation battle. That's how much attention and energy it took from me. Because if we finished 5th, I would have been like, oh shit, now we have to listen to Arsenal moan about it. But now I'm like, I don't even care because we're safe. And for me, that's a bigger feeling. I mean, obviously it's not my club, but
back to my original point though, Terry. I want to touch on this because I think this will really hit home. This Arsenal team won the league.
Hang on. Sarah hadn't finished speaking. You just
sorry.
That's
what Arsenal fans are like.
Be happy for us. Be happy for us.
You know what I am? You know what I am kind of happy for them, to be honest. I was as I told you before we played West Ham. I was saying, hey, if you guys stay up, I'll be happy because that means that we would have won the league.
I'm interjecting over you, but you reminded me of the way you did that. Remember that famous thing of like Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville just walking off by themselves? And they were talking. She's like, and maybe by the end. Anyway, what I was saying earlier was.
It's the champion smugness, bro. It's the champion smugness.
You can shut up, bro, because when you won things, you came on here giving it.
Bro, I barely came on here. What was it? When we won the league title, I barely came on here. I was too busy celebrating. Don't bum out. You're like, you were shaking your ass. You were doing everything, bro. You were giving us a dirty wine. You were dirty wine in the camera, bro. Shaking my ass. Don't do that. In the words of Deji, I weren't doing that. Don't do that.
Like, oh, slot. There's my slot. There's my slot. Now you were loving slot last year,
and then 6 months later, slot out.
Crazy.
Out of my slot. Get out. You know what I mean? Anton, I'm gonna take it away from you, Anton, because we'll come back to you in a minute. Kate, do you think Arsenal are set for a period of Premier League domination?
Yeah, I do. I actually do, because I think we don't know what's happening with City with the 1-1-5 and Pep going. Liverpool, I've got no faith in them at all. Everyone looks like they're in transition and rebuilds, and Chelsea are just shit. Tottenham are shit. And the clubs like this is why I'd love a club like Villa to really push on, because all our friends are Villa season ticket holders. So I'd love for a team like that to push on. But no, I don't see it being like decades or anything like that, because I think Manchester United are going in the right direction, but I do see a couple of years of Arsenal domination. Unfortunately, makes me feel a little bit sick saying it, but I do.
I'm with you, Kate, man.
Let me ask you a question, Kate. Next year, who would you rather win the league, Arsenal or Man United?
United all day long.
Obvious.
Okay. Ram, a question for you. Arsenal. I got one for you, Ram. Arsenal to go back to back and win the Champions League this year, because look how angry you are with the smugglers. Or Man United, Ram, to win the Premier League next year to stop Arsenal having dominance.
I want you miserable until I'm here, bro. So Arsenal win.
You are here. You're already here.
No, until I'm not here. Sorry, until I'm not here.
You're a disgrace, Ram.
Cool. How about yourself, Kwess? Who would you pick? Arsenal to dominate or Man United? Prems.
Think wisely, Kwess.
I'll be real. I say Arsenal.
Oh,
Kwess, you got Alonso. Remember that, bro?
No, but there's reasoning why. Because it's the same reason why I didn't believe Arsenal would win the title this year. Yeah, for me, history is a big thing. So in the back of my mind, yeah, I was like, Arsenal are not going to have the minerals. I just didn't expect so many teams to fall off this year, and I didn't expect Arsenal to have the consistency they did. My thing is, historically, Man United have the minerals and the mindset that they are huge. Pause. So I think if they get back to the top of the spire, I think they will happily dominate. Pause. And that will be
huge
10
pause,
times
huge
worse.
Dominate, bro.
I'm just saying. I said pause, man. But that's why I say that, because for me, yeah, what I don't think Arsenal have taken into consideration is you've got to the top of the ladder, but now the biggest enemy's gone. Pep's gone. So now you're enemy number one. Like, nobody's really sitting there thinking about how strange it is that everybody's going, Arsenal, who have been a really good side for the last couple of years and have been really dominant this season, everybody's going, oh, yeah, now they've won it. We've all got a chance. If I was an Arsenal man, I'd be fuming. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, we've just showed to everybody you ain't got a chance. But the reason why is because people generally have this perspective of Arsenal like, nah, we can get at you. There's certain teams where I think if you get on top, I just don't pause. I don't think you'll be able to get at them. And United is one of them. Liverpool's another one where, like, if they're in a period where their team is good, the fans are backing them, they've got the right manager, very difficult to stop. Chelsea's another one where I think we end up shooting ourselves in the foot, to be honest, when we get there. But I think we're another team that when we get there and we're feeling like everything's in alignment, we're really good at holding things together. So Arsenal, I just think, yeah, it's a bit like in business. I'm sure Terry will correct me if I'm wrong, but there's this thing in business, like every 5 years, you've got to make a change. So Arsenal have actually made that change after that 5th year. They're in this 6th year. Typically, now, yeah, typically, I would suggest that now they're on a slow decline. That's what I would imagine would happen, because you're probably not going to get a lot better than this. You're not going to get a lot better than this. Like, if you look at their squad now, really, are they going to go and sign Kravitskeller in that position? Are they then going to go and sign a Doué in another position? Are they going to go and sign another? It'd be really difficult. So that's why that's not a disrespect to Arsenal. It's just they're so good now. It'd be really difficult to build on top of this. So I would actually prefer Arsenal to win.
See, this is where, I mean, I know, hey, the United thing, I actually want to see United be good again. And I have a bit of an evil plan. Back when I was a kid, goes back to my childhood, right? I used to watch Arsene Wenger against Sir Alex Ferguson, and for the most part, they got the better of us. I want to see an era of Man United and Arsenal going head to head, where we've got the better manager that wins the fair share of the titles. And for me, it would feel like redemption for those 2000s years. But I actually think, Kwess, that I like, look at this season, right?
Yeah.
Gyökeres, everyone was making fun of Gyökeres for most of the season, saying he's a flop, this or that. Still under 21 league goals. But going into next season where he's used to the league, I think he's probably going to hit 30 plus next season. We went to the Mendy tailed off for basically the second half of the year because he wasn't used to the rigors of playing in the Premier League or playing as many games. Like this season, we played 63 games. Eze had to be taken out for periods of the season because he wasn't used to playing as many games or playing at the high level of Arsenal. We had more first-team injuries this season than we did last year in the one that we fell off. Like, Saka only came back at the very end. So even if we don't sign anybody, this team next year will be better than it was this year, and we still won the league.
I think you win it next year. Yeah, I think you win it next year.
But then you add a Morgan Rogers in there. I think we're going to probably go after Krupi. I've been hearing about Livramento, potentially a Tonali. That's your 4 players that you bring in the summer. Arsenal are that's a 10 out of 10 window for me.
So you see, my pushback would just be, if you then do sign those players, let's say, and then you win it again after the second title, your motivation's going to be so much different. So, and then the energy towards you is different. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right? No one's chasing it.
Well, this is the thing with domination. Arsenal could, and if I just describe what I mean by domination, 5 seasons from now, so in another we fast forward to end of 2031, there is a possibility that Arsenal have won 3 or 4 of those league titles, which you would look at as a dominant.
That would bring us to 20, Terry.
Okay, yeah, if I may. They could do that, right? And they could be on 20. In that time, they could pick up FA Cups, they could pick up League Cups, they could win a Champions League or 2. It is plausible. One, I think outside of 3 or 4 European teams, this is one of the reasons I want Man United to get back to being a top team and actually being able to compete. Because I look at Europe right now, and I think you've got 3 or 4 European teams that have got good teams or could possibly build good teams. PSG, Barca, Real Madrid, Bayern. Outside of that, I think if the Premier League teams build well with the money we have, other clubs, you can get knocked out, but over a course of 3, 4, 5 seasons, the English team should all be above. We should be above, generally speaking, every German team but Bayern, every Spanish team but the big 2, every French team but PSG, every Portuguese, every other nation, we should be above them all. So it's a period where if Arsenal get this right and none of the other English teams mount a challenge, they will dominate. That's the thing, that they're good. The only way I think we're going to stop Arsenal from dominating is by some of us becoming as good as them. Now, that's the one thing that I will say to Arsenal fans is that there's nothing you can do to stop us becoming a really good team. Because it doesn't matter how good Pep is, how good Klopp was, how good Liverpool were last year, how good PSG are, how good Bayern Munich are, how good Barcelona are. No one stopped you becoming this good because you can always sign good players. There's always people out there. You can always have the right managers. So it's more on us than it is Arsenal. This, for me, I'm focused on Man United getting better, not, I hope Arsenal drop off, because we've got no, if we're looking internally, Man United shouldn't be hoping Arsenal drop off to win a league title. We have to try and become as good or better than them. And you've seen Arsenal do that. They have gone, right, how do we become the best in England? We've got to beat everyone ahead of us. And they've built a team that's done that now. Now, I'm not a big fan of the points total thing. I've always said I think the points total, chasing the points total is a weird thing to do because people like start comparing points totals now to 30 years ago. When there was 3 subs and the rules were different and 4 or 5 players on the subs bench and much smaller
VAR and, you know,
much smaller squads, all these things, right? So I don't even like comparing stuff like that because I just find you're looking at a completely different world. Plus, last year, like I've seen people go, Arsenal got less points, 1 more point than Liverpool's team last year. No, I didn't call Liverpool's team last year bad, like some people do, a bad league. I think it was a very hard league. I said the same this year. I've been consistent on this. But the reason why they only got 84 points is because they won the league with 5, 6, 7 games to go, whatever it was, and then got pissed. They could have quite easily got 95 points, right? But I still don't think last year's Liverpool team were better than Conte's Chelsea team. I don't think last year's Liverpool team were better than Liverpool's team that got 97 points. They could have matched 97 points if they really went for it. But why bother? If Man United win the league next season with 80-odd points and there's 5, 6 games to go and we could reach Centurion level. I don't give a shit if my players try to reach Centurions. I just care about winning the league. It's an irrelevance to me. Go and enjoy yourself. Go out on so all of that. So I'm not really focused on Arsenal. I don't want them to get better as a Man United fan. I want us to be able to catch them. That doesn't mean that I'm going to start hating on them. I'm focused more on United. Who can we go out and buy? How can we close that gap? Because I do think where there is a possibility is with Pep leaving, with Klopp now gone. I don't think Arsenal will win every league for the next 4, 5, 6 years because no one's done that. Is my club going to be in a position when there's a door ajar to step into it? You look at the Champions League and PSG are the team to beat right now. But I still think if you're one of the English teams and you're being run well and you've got a good solid defense, I think you can win. I think there's a chance you can win the Champions League. And I feel like the English teams have got to look at the Champions League right now with the power we have financially and go, over this next 10 years or so, there's no signs these other leagues are going to catch us financially. This is when we've got to cash in as a nation of teams. And I don't want any of you to win it, by the way. I want United to win all of them. But this is where we should be looking at this because this reminds me of the 90s and the noughties where there was 2 or 3 other leagues that just had more money than we did. And it was so hard for our teams. And it wasn't until the late noughties where you started to see us dominate that area after years of building the Premier League. So can Arsenal dominate? Yes. Do I think they'll win a lot of trophies in the next 5 years? I do. I think they're going to win a few Prems. I think they're going to win some domestics. I think they're going to win a Champions League, maybe 2. I really believe it's possible. But it doesn't mean other teams can't win leagues and Premier Leagues as well. And I think that's more my focus than getting involved in not a pointless debate, but in a tit for tat over who might dominate, who won't dominate. I just want Man United to focus on becoming a team that challenges, because I think if you challenge regularly enough, you'll start winning major trophies. That's just my view. Like Arsenal competing 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, it felt inevitable to me they're going to start winning trophies. I've never seen a team be consistent enough to push some of the best. They pushed one of the best European sides of all time in Pep's Man City to so close to winning and carried on being competitive every year. It felt inevitable they were going to win trophies. Which is why, yes, years ago I was looking at Arteta and Arsenal going, I don't get this. And then they turned it round and I changed my mind with the evidence in front of me. But I found it crazy, people, like, not crazy people wanting to go. It got to the point where I understand why you might want to change, but it was when I'd say to people, do you not think if you change it though, you risk maybe going backwards? And only one fan we ever had on, and it was Connor, said, I would take that risk to win, but I'm completely aware we could go backwards. It was the response of people going, no way we go backwards. And that's when I was used to think, oh, that feels more of an agenda, because no one knows the future. So look, Arsenal could dominate, but I'm excited about this next. I'm excited. As much as some people are saying end of an era, Pep's going, Klopp's going. I remember listening to football fans that weren't United fans when Fergie left, going, oh, I'm so excited now. And I went, what do you mean? I remember being at, so it's actually my wedding. I remember being there, and there was a Liverpool fan there. I remember Shane, his name was, and I remember because he turned out to my wedding, he had a Liverpool tie on, so we made sure that the dinner plate he ate off was a Man United plate, and he didn't realise that he got through the and it's a bit of banter. But I remember him saying, we were having a few beers at my wedding, and he was saying, I'm excited about the Prem now. He goes, I think a few more teams will start winning the league because Fergie's dominance is gone. And I just took it as a comment. And it wasn't until Liverpool nearly won the league the next year. Then they won it a few years later. Then again, Leicester have won it. City then had a period. And I'm hopeful that can happen again. But I just hope my team is part of that, if that makes sense. I hope my team is picking up those trophies as well. But
Terry, the one thing that you can argue that the domination may not happen is because there's a series of unknowns about all the teams around. Like you've got City with Enzo Maresca. You got, even to an extent, I'll still argue Chelsea with Xabi Alonso as well. There's so many unknowns that you can be like, it can go really badly, which I think a lot of people are predicting because of the effects of Pep leaving, Chelsea's squad at this moment. But people are underestimating what could happen. The positive aspect, where it's like, maybe Enzo Maresca will be a perfect fit for City, and they're back again, and they're challenging, and they could be another problem. That's the thing. There's so many unknowns where you just don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes, like people thought when Arne Slot first came in, he's going to change everything and do whatever, and we're going to go backwards. He didn't change anything. He kept everything the same, and we end up winning the league title. It's just unknowns at this point.
We're right, Ram.
De Zerbi with Tottenham.
This is my one thing. This is my one message to Arsenal fans.
We're quietly confident, Kate and I. We're just sitting here quietly listening.
No, but I don't think they'll challenge next year. But I think if you look at Tottenham's improvements in the last 5 or 6 games with a good window, I'm not saying they'll win the league or anything crazy, but Spurs will be back in around that top 8 next year with De Zerbi. He's a good enough coach for that. There's no doubt if they buy right, I think the attitude would be different. But this is the one thing I'd say to Arsenal fans, and this isn't you, Anton, per se, but I've seen a few Arsenal fans online write everybody else off. You do realize you're doing exactly what everybody did to you. And I think and again, it's just a fan's opinion. It may not have any bearing on it. But in terms of coping with what happens, I think sometimes in life it's better to be open to the possibility of United getting better, Chelsea getting better, City remaining a very competitive team, Slot reverting back to what made him successful the year before. I always find it's easier to be open-minded to that. It's easier to cope with in the It's why there's so many Arsenal haters, is that they still can't just accept that what they thought about Arsenal was wrong. And it makes, you saw Gabby Bonglahor today on TalkSport, the stuff. He went from diminishing the Cup Winners' Cup and the Intercities Cup in Europe, especially the Cup Winners' Cup, diminishing it, to having a go at an Arsenal fan who said, well, when Forest won back-to-back Champions Leagues, they did it beating grasshoppers. And I didn't like either argument because they both sound diminishing, but the Arsenal fan...
his own trophy.
But it was one of these things where, hang on a minute, Gabby. He then said to the Arsenal, you can't start diminishing people that have won European trophies. You just played down the Cup Winners' Cup like it was a nothing trophy. It's a massive trophy. And this is my issue with a lot of it. And that's all because he just deluded himself into thinking that Arsenal weren't really a good team. And he now can't handle the facts. So my message, for what it's worth, to anyone who's listening, to Arsenal fans out there, is don't delude yourself into thinking that no one is going to... Someone it may not be next season, is going to challenge you, because how many seasons have happened in just the Prem where there's been no challenge to the title? There's been very, very few. You got maybe the City Centurion season. I think Man United in 01.
We did in that season. Liverpool got 97. Or
that was
before the season before.
Yeah.
Well, United got 84 points that season.
Yeah, but we were well out of the title race with 2 or 3 months to go. Really, it's one of these things where you can probably pinpoint a couple. I think Chelsea's first league title.
04-05, yeah. And to be fair, 2015, I think we won it by like 10 points.
Yeah, that was at the Diego Costa year,
Yeah.
But you'll still find there's probably only 5 or 6 leagues in 40 years where there hasn't been a challenge. So use your brain. There's going to be challenges more often than not. Sorry, Sarah.
Yeah.
No, I want to throw something out there, because next year there's 9 teams in Europe, right? And that's only ever happened how many times before? Once? I think it's only ever happened nine teams.
Must be last year.
This year it must have been close, because we had 6 in the Champions League. It's like a record breaking for it to happen this much, right? And if you think about it, right, the teams that are actually going to be in Europe next year: Sunderland, Bournemouth, Brighton, Crystal Palace, who finished 15th this year, right? Those teams are going to be playing twice a week, arguably might not have the depth of squad. And I think something about this season is the mid-table has been really packed, and that's affected the teams at the top, right? Because they've dropped points. Arsenal have dropped a lot of points this year to the mid-table teams, and everyone's picked up points to Spurs for sure. But in the middle, right, that is the thing that is going to have the swing. From my perspective, I think that's the thing that's going to have the biggest swing next year in terms of points. I can't tell you who's going to dominate, but I just think that next year you're going to see like a lot more of a divided table. You're going to see a lot more, because I just think that teams like Sunderland are not going to cope well. I don't know, I'm speculating obviously, but I just think they're not going to cope as well. So I think you're going to see like teams like United, for example, this season. You guys haven't had Champions League, but you're going to reinforce. Arsenal now have done that back to back for several seasons, so they have the depth of squad the same as City. So I think you're going to start seeing again this like shift. And I people are laughing at me, but I do think with us, we're not going to obviously finish top, but I think not having any European football, Chelsea not having any European football, these are all going to swing the competition next year for me. I think.
Look at Newcastle. Every time they get into Europe, they drop off in the league. Villa this year have bucked the trend, but it's 2 or 3 years in a row in Europe.
Newcastle this year as well. Next season, they could have one. Yeah.
The one thing I say about United, and I might end up being wrong on this, is that we've regularly been in Europe, and the club knows what it's like to be there. But I agree with you, the Bournemouths and the Brightons and the Sunderlands being there, it's going to be a whole new world. Sunderland's the one team I think might buck the trend if they spend like they did again. If they spend again big, but, Man United, I mean, I'm talking to Ben Jacobs in the morning. He's talking 7 or 8 signings. Again, that's what we need. It needs to be that kind of summer.
Wow.
Let's jump into they're not all going to be massive. I think there'll be a few Senna Lamans.
That's a lot though,
no, it will be. A few super chats here. This one says, as an Arsenal fan, Anton is insufferable. Well done, Kate.
Must be an Arteta outer, because I've literally sat here for 9-10 months defending this football club and predicting exactly what was going to happen at the end of the season.
Yeah, she did.
All you guys were calling me deluded. So maybe actually listen rather than just complain about what I'm saying and feel uncomfortable.
Again, ole, ole.
Oh, absolutely. I sent you that clip the other day, right? Remember the Eze day? I said, hey, we bought Eze. We're the best squad in the league. And
you did say that.
Sam and Mo went on their show the next an hour later, and Sam's like, "Did you hear that guy on the terrace? He said that Arsenal have the best squad in the league." He's like, "Arsenal fans, man, you can't, And then he's just they're having a laugh. But like that's the thing I want to say. Like we'll continue before we continue the chats here. Is guys, analyze football. Use your brains. Look at the landscape around you.
Yeah, Kate.
Because the only things that I've ever said that I thought would happen, because I've looked at. Instead of just using agendas or being like, hey, this happened last year, so the exact same thing will happen next year, you kind of look at where all the teams are, look at all their squads, look at the manager, look what's changed, what are the different factors here, and read the room. And if you do that, then
there's going to be 8 new managers in the Prem next year, isn't there? Probably about 8 managers.
Pretty crazy.
Half the league.
It's massive. This year says that we'd rather stick to being boring than nearly relegated. It's fair.
100%.
Looking good, Ram, with the new trim.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
You got a lady friend or fella? What's going on, Ram? You single?
I don't pay him to say it. Just let me have the moment, bro. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Because you look fresh, like you're dating, brother. And I don't want to assume because that's wrong in this world.
Hey, that's the yellow card, bro.
No, I had to get a haircut.
He's blushing now.
It's too long.
Fan from San Francisco, California. Viva Arsenal. Big up. I love San Francisco.
Big up, Cali.
I've been there a few times. California's a great state. I've been to LA and San Francisco. I spent a lot of time in San Jose when I was younger as well. A massive kickboxing camp out there. Loved it. Loved San Jose. The parade is on Sunday because Monday is the World Cup prep. Yeah, it's going to be. I've read somewhere there's going to be over 1 million people at the parade. And
I heard 2 million.
Well, I mean, I think it'll be gargantuan. I mean, I think it has shown just the size of.
Are you going, Terry?
Do you know what? I am. Do you know what it is, right? No. Do you know why I felt like?
He's literally going.
I tell you why.
Did you see that glory hunter? You're not United.
Did you see? No. There's a reason. I'll tell you the reason. Did you see the video of that United fan who turned up and they were rushing in? Did you see that video? The guy was getting.
Days. Yeah, I've seen that.
The ego in me went, I bet if I turn up, I get a hero's welcome, but I don't want to test it because I might fucking not. Do you know what I mean? So
you will definitely turn up. Show up in your Arsenal or scary shirt, Terry.
I swear, Neeks did that once. He was he interviewed.
If you want,
he interviewed a lot of people at Arsenal, and he got a little bit.
Yeah, but he did. He didn't get rushed. Question: how do you make it if a team can? How do you make it if a team can dominate? It's the manager, league, etc. Play into that. Nobody in history was like Sir Alex, but he did it. Now, listen, and that's the thing. That's why I'm open-minded to it. There is Arsenal were good. I agree with what Anton said. They've got players that look like they're not about to time out. And the only reason Liverpool went back this year isn't because they spent big. It's because they abandoned all their principles. And I don't see Arteta doing that. I don't see Arteta going, right, we're going to change how we play, how we structure, how we defend. And I did see Ronan said this earlier. Arsenal are a one rule change away from being mid-table, talking about, listen, if they stop...
No, but we would score more from set pieces if you get changed that
I think Arsenal would score more. They don't... It's maybe defending. They concede a few more. But attacking-wise, you do realise the teams like Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, there's another one who I forget, right at the top of the table. If defenders couldn't pull our players anymore, do you know how many more goals we would score from corners? It'd be unbelievable. Arteta and the Cronkies are aware of the targets on their backs. I think they will prepare for a fight. Arteta will not rest on his laurels.
I don't think you can prepare for people genuinely wanting to take your head off. I don't think you, because that's what I mean. Like everybody being excited, thinking the league is back. That's crazy to me. Like, that shows you how much fear Pep and Klopp put in people. People are just like, there's no point even trying. And I remember saying that on this show and people laughed at me. You understand why? Because they were just different. With Arsenal, I'm going, no, there's a chance. But like, you've not been at the top for such a long time. You actually don't know what it feels like. I don't think you can prepare for that. Do I think they will adjust and ready themselves to deal with that as time goes on? Yeah, 100%. Because they're a great club. They ran really well.
Just
I think that's true. But
just to add on to your point, Kwess, the best example I could give was Chelsea in 21-22, where everyone thought they were going to go and challenge, if not win the league title. And then that season, they realized, yo, the level at the top is actually mad.
Different.
It is hard to know. It is look, I remember 98 when they won the league. They were predicted to go on and dominate then, and then United won 3 in a row and did a treble at the beginning of it. And United won't do that. United won't do that this year. They won't do it. And I remember opening game of that season, Community Shield, Arsenal smashed Man United. You destroyed us. And we were looked at as a bit of a laughing stock. And I remember the newspapers. I remember the conversations back then. At the same time, Arsenal could do it. And I think it's open-ended. But Arsenal, for me, right now, are the front runners. But the thing is, we don't know what we don't know yet. There's going to be transfers. There's going to be all sorts of things going on as well. Look, I want to thank you all for tuning in this evening. I know it's been a hot one. And that's not just because Ram is here with a new haircut. But
hey. Terry can give compliments if he wants to.
I've been complimenting you all night. You look fresh. Have you got a new one on the go? That's a compliment, bruv. I've been nice to Kate. You know, said she looks lovely. Kwess not so much, but thank you
Love
all
you
for
too, man.
tuning on, man. I appreciate it a lot. I'm just making sure. Have we got? Hang on a second. 1 second, because if I haven't, then I'm going to do it. We're not redirecting anybody, so I'm going to see who's live. Who's live that I like, that I can redirect to. Jesus Christ, how many streams have they set up? Do you know what? Egal's going to be live soon. I'm gonna hang on. No. Hang on. Is that today or tomorrow? Yeah, there we go, Egal. I'm gonna redirect to you. There we go, bro. Until next time, everybody. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And
Come on, PSG.
Come on, you guys.
take care.
You said that with chess, Kate. You said that with chess. Yeah.